Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with another Mixed Media Frenzy. And if you could see my table right now, you would truly consider it a frenzy. And as I go along with this, there may indeed be a frenzy. First of all, to review some products, I'm using, well, let me talk to you about the challenge. This is the sketch that we're all using this week. It's a couple, what look like, and I did mine about 3x4, and some floral clusters that look like they're stamped on top of the mixed media background, some kind of circly things, some horizontal things. They're a couple of different colors. There's some circles with some stars in them. I'm going to limit myself to a couple stencils and a couple stamps and some pre-made mixed media, and I'm going to do my own mixed media behind that. So we'll kind of look at what I've prepared already. I took a page from this Vicki Boutin ready-to-use mixed media paper. It's a 6x8 pad, and it was this pattern that I chose. There's wonderful stuff in here. And I tore it so that I could stamp it with the floral clusters, and I could use these kind of in these corner areas by my photos. The photos I'm using are one normal photo, and the other is a filtered photo. This is using the waterlog application. I think the specific filter is called It's Technical, and there's a faint grid design at the back, and I just love the look of that. It's my granddaughter Allie in her cap and gown right after she'd picked it up. Her mom posted this on Instagram and I stole it. So that's the photo. These are some things I'm going to put on top of the mixed media. I have been a little bit sloppy, I guess, with my stamp or my stamp pad. There's a bit of journaling. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put that. Let me get my little remote back over where it belongs. I've got another stamp. I'm going to be working, to do my mixed media, I'm going to be working with these Heidi Swapp chalk inks, which came in the mixed media kit from Mind the Scrap. It's part of the May Mind the Scrap kits. And I think I'm also going to use a stamp from there. It's this I Love You one, and I'm going to put it down here where on the original it says Love Drips. I'm going to do that, and I may have my journaling. I'm going to kind of run it this way. My journaling may be here, and I'm not quite sure. The reason I brought this pad is I may do something with this mixed media part to kind of back my journaling, but we'll see as we go along. First thing I'm going to do is kind of create this sort of splashy looking thing that's kind of outside these circles, just a faint background, and so I'm going to do some of this directly on the paper. I've got some of the black ink there, but I'm going to have some splashes and splatters, so that probably won't show in the grand scheme of things. So I'm just going to kind of do this. Now these chalk inks they give you a little bit of the same, kind of the same softness, if you will, of oxide inks, but they have a true chalk finish, and they're really nice to blend. I'm going to blend in a little bit of this green to a couple areas, and then I'll blend that in with some white paint. And I got the white paint idea from Ann Freeman, who is in the, I think it's Ann Freeman, maybe it is Sue Steeden, who are on the Mind the Scrap design team. And let me do this. There's like a horizontal line there, and I'm kind of wanting to do that, and I'm not quite sure what that'll end up like, especially with given the position of my photos. So I'm going to take a tiny little bit of white acrylic paint, and I've actually mixed it with a medium that'll kind of keep it a little bit softer. I'm going to blend it out, and it kind of softens any of the rough edges. In any areas where I do see kind of hardened edges, I can, you know, add some stamping. So that's the beautiful thing about mixed media. You're never completely tied to anything that you've done. There are always more layers that can be put on. Okay, I'm gonna just let that be the background. I'm gonna start placing the photos. I want the natural one to go here and this one here. And I like that this pink is kind of coming out of there. I've backed them with foam, and I'm going to that, okay. And I'm gonna take this one and kind of place it like that. And I've got this one the way that I've stamped that. I want to be sure that this this leaf shows. Okay, given that placement, and I think I like that, I want these torn edges to stick down as if this mixed media were decoupaged or just another layer on top of this chalk ink that I've kind of blended in there. Okay, and so that will stay. What I've done there, I could have used this medium and painted it on with a paintbrush, but what I did was I used this glue stick. It's a collage glue stick. So, and if it kind of stands up, I can do that to it, and it will drag a little of the black from the stamp out, which is another reason I didn't use the medium. I normally would use the medium and have it go over. If these hadn't been stamped with an image, I'd have used the medium above and below. I'd use it to glue the to glue it down, and then to cover it up to make it truly decoupaged. But I didn't really want, and I think the medium might have dragged a little more of the ink, the stamping ink, onto it. Okay, now I'm going to use a stencil to kind of, let's see, I'm gonna do this, kind of add a little bit of a circle up here above this, and I think I'm going to use the green rather than the turquoise, and I'm just kind of rubbing it on top of the stencil, the pattern in the stencil. And then I'll kind of soften it with my finger this way. And that kind of gives me the effect I want, and it lets me kind of blend that one out there in. So here I'm going to do a similar thing with this part of the stencil. And I'm not going to kind of overlap my mixed media paper, but I will kind of blend it in there. Okay, now I've got those. I think I'm going to have some circles. These are kind of what I'm going to call coffee stain circles. I'll have some of those. And then I will have what I'm going to call star circles, circles that I make that I'm going to stamp with one of these star stamps. It's from, the flowers are from Vicki Boutin's, I forget which collection. These are from Let's Wander. I got those flowers from and the leaf from this set. So that goes there. I'm going to do down here, and I'm going to take a square and make a circle on the paper, and that's and then I'll do that didn't go around enough to make it circular enough. Let me do another one kind of up in here. Now I could, and I think I will, take one of these. I don't have my brush holder right now, but let me see how this works. And again, if it doesn't work, we've always got layers we can put on top of it, right? If it's something of a fail. So let's try this, maybe right there. Okay, that's good. It had a little bit of oxide ink on the pad, and therefore there's a little bit of kind of brown that shows there, and that's fine. I was expecting that. Let me do another one kind of under here. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna actually do some blending there. This one blends beautifully, and I might take some of that color and blend it into this green circle and maybe darken this area here. Same here. Kind of do this. I'm letting the pink almost appears to have a wet look about it. So I've used a finger that had one of the other inks. I'm going to go ahead and blend those in. Okay. Now I'm going to take the journaling and maybe kind of put it, I've got this at a slight angle. Let me see if I have enough of that dotty paper. I should have another sheet of it in this. This is a storyline by Heidi Swap, 6x8 paper pad. And I'm not seeing the dotty lines, but I tell you what there is this diagonal stripe, and I love diagonal stripes as, let me kind of clean my fingers a bit, and actually this baby white can maybe help me with that circle, and this one. It's a little, I don't know, vivid, I guess. Okay. Do that. I'll put this here. And I'll pull my trimmer over. Sorry I didn't have that already decided. Before I started. I do love the colors in this storyline line. They're really pretty. Okay, so if I do that, and maybe, well, if I do, okay, here, let's do this, and I'll stamp on this before I actually mount this. I'll put some foam on it. But first we'll do our stamping. And I will do a very large star on that one. Well, actually, I've got this stamp all set to say, I love you. So, do I want to put it there or maybe here? I'd say here. Let me get this, and then I'll figure out, I'll still stamp the star, but that may change where the journaling goes. Okay, I hate taking chances like this. Since I got my Misty, I really hate stamping without it, but that came out just fine. And a little bit of the turquoise color has come out there. Okay, let me put these back with that stamp set, and I don't see it, so I'm gonna just kind of put it there. I've got this dotty star that's large, and I think I'm going to go with it for behind the journaling. And if you're like me, you know what I mean when I say I'm hoping that if it comes out bad, that the bad part is the part that's going to be under the journaling block. Okay, that came out perfect, and it allows me to do this kind of parallel with the bottom. So I'll do I want to do that or this? I think this, because I want more of the star to show. Or do I want it maybe here? And these being at angles, which the originals are not, I've kind of made this a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Let me try. If I did this, it's parallel with that one, but if I did, then it's very much not parallel with that one. I'm almost going to say that I'll put it over here, separate from all of that. And it's not journaling that I'm willing to leave off. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so I've got that star stamped. Do I want another one of those stars? I know I want a star here and I want one there. So let me go with the striped star next, over to the left of that top photo. Okay, that's good. Now the next star is kind of small. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll use it up there, right smack on top of that pink. That pink circle. Okay, there. I've got the stars around. Now I want to, first of all, do some doodling. I'm just going to take a normal black pen and hope that the chalk ink allows me to do what I want to do here. I'd like to go kind of around this guy a few times. And do some little stars along the way. And some little choop choops, which can kind of help me cover up that bit right there. And then I'm going to kind of go over here, and I want these circles to not really be circular, if you know what I mean. Kind of elliptical and messed up, like someone didn't really know how to draw a freehand circle. And you know, that would be me. Okay, and down here it shows on the original, it's got it kind of going over the frame there. I'm going to make it surround this guy and go to the star. And out the other side of the star. Okay, and kind of like that, and this. Okay, I've got those out there. Let's see what I want to do next. I think it's time for the splatters. So I'm going to pull this and let it be there, and I'm really going to go to town with splatters. Over the stamping, over the mixed media, over the original mixed media, and the Vicki Boutin's mixed media. Just everywhere. Except the photo, of course. But if some were to get on the photo, that's not much different from filtering photos. Now this is, the ink I'm using here is Dylusion's Black Marble Shimmer Spray. And it, when it dries, will leave a nice sheen, and it kind of almost turns a little bit silvery, almost a pewter kind of color. Okay, so let's see how that looks. All right, I'm happy with that. I see a couple other stamps that I kind of liked that I thought would be appropriate for this, for the photos. This one says photo op, and these days photo ops are kind of where you find them. Her mom took her for a drive-by cap and gown pickup, and then took her to a park where they could socially distance from people. Things, the parks hadn't quite opened up to the point that they have now. And she found a way to take photos of her apart from the other folks. So I'm going to do this. And you know, I think it picked up some of that ink, but that's okay. Now, I want a few more sprinkles around the word photo op. So I'm going to cover that up and kind of do that. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm gonna call it done anyway. This one was maybe a little bit easier and a tad more fun than I had expected it to be. And I think it's due to the fact that I love the Vicki Boutin pre-made mixed media, and I also love the way those chalk inks perform. So I'm thrilled. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Let me get my trusty little remote and make sure that it works.